Welcome to the All Things Sports podcast. This is week 5. We missed last week. I had a concussion, but we're doing it this week, and we will be back to our normal schedule from now on. So we'll be posting every Friday morning at, you said, are we doing 11?
Yeah, around 11:30.
So yeah, around 11:30. You can follow us on TikTok at All Things Sports Pod. That's all lowercase, no spaces. Am I forgetting anything? I think.
Subscribe, like the video before it starts.
Yeah, you already know it's going to be so good. So what are you waiting for?
All right, first segment, the Boston sports news or the general news around the leagues. First, MLB start with the Red Sox. We're playing great. Just 13-9, first in the AL East. We saw a game. They crushed
We saw
Blue Jays.
Mac-up
White Sox.
Giolito, who's one of the best pitchers in the league. Their lineup's been playing. They've been hitting the ball really well. They've crushed some of the best pitchers. Barrios, Maeda, Giolito, Hyunjin Ryu from the Blue Jays. They've been great against good pitching, but then it seems like they don't go out and perform against bad pitching. Like this week against the Mariners, it's just been frustrating to watch them a little bit. Like, how is this happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, Eovaldi got shelled today, but I don't think that's really his fault. That's going to happen to everyone eventually. You're going to have an off day. But it really is. It was too bad because he was dealing. But I think he'll get back on track.
Bogaerts has been playing great. JD's been keeping it up. Yeah, Devers.
Those main four, Verdugo, Devers, JD, and Xander have been awesome at the plate. And then there's one other guy that I would say has been great. Arroyo was good early in the season. I think he's done really good and he's stepped in the field. But Bobby Dahlbeck has really stepped up as of late, hitting the ball the other way, hitting it hard. The home runs will come, Bobby. Just keep swinging a big stick.
And just working the picture. I mean, the game we saw, he had a 14 pitch at bat. He's got the crowd on his feet. It's awesome.
He's great in the field too. Like they've been awesome so far, except for Garrett Richards. Bring him down to AAA or cut him. Bring up Tanner Houck. Garrett Richards can't pitch.
All right. On to the Celtics. Celtics, they're 3-2 the last 5 games. Started to creep our way up. We had a 6-game winning streak going until we faced the Bulls. We beat a red hot Suns team, and then we had a tough loss against the Nets last night. It's close. The standings are so close. With us, New York, Atlanta, and the Heat, it's close.
It's important to note that that game against the Nets, we were also missing Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker, which is a huge factor to our loss. But the Nets were also missing people, so that's fairly accurate to how if we play them in the playoffs, that might be how it goes.
Yeah, they're missing Harden and Durant. So
we did beat the Phoenix Suns, but the Phoenix Suns were completely worn down. They had just played against Milwaukee and Philadelphia. That's obviously a great win for the Celtics, but I don't think the Suns had Ayton in that game.
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a good win, but you lose to the Bulls the night before that at home. Like, that's a game that you have to win if you want to climb up those standings and not play in the play-in tournament.
I just think that's the most important thing. We have to stay, get out of the play-in tournament, and preferably that 5 or 5-4 game. Right there.
If they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and then they win here and there against the good team and up those rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
But overall, I think they're heading in the right direction as long as if Tatum can step up and be a leader and not take his fadeaway mid-range and instead just shoot up. Like, I'd rather have him shoot 3-pointers than take post fades. Like,
yeah.
And I don't think he's handling the ball either. Like, have him catch the ball and shoot it, or have Kemba handle the ball. Tatum, I think was it against the Bulls where he like turned the ball over like 4 times in the last 6 minutes?
Yeah,
it was something crazy like that, and none of them were steals or anything. He just like dribbled it off himself or passed it away. Like, yeah, it's just frustrating to watch him sometimes, but he has potential. He just gotta play better.
Onto the Bruins. The NHL trade deadline was a week or two ago. Bruins got former MVP Taylor Hall, who's been playing all right. He might have a goal. He has a goal. I don't know if he has more than that, but he's been playing. He's been playing all right. He's been on just losing teams. He's got to step that up. And we also got Mike Riley from the Senators, who's actually they've been using him a lot as a fenceman. They've been using him a lot in the power plays and stuff. So if those guys can just keep playing good, that would be great.
They're getting Miller back, which is going to help them out a lot on defense also.
Yeah. We had a 6-game win streak going too until last night. Also in this standings they're tight too, with the Islanders and the Rangers and Penguins, and it's close. We got to keep winning those games to the end of the season.
Don't overhype the Bruins right now, though. They just played the Sabres 3 games in a row, so
Yeah,
I mean those are obviously it's great that you won the game, but the Sabres suck.
yeah.
They're like
We should have
the hockey equivalent of the what's a good compare of the Tigers. They suck.
Yeah.
But I mean Brad on the best player
One.
Brad Marchand, the best player in hockey. You should win MVP right there. I mean, he's been awesome.
Yeah. On to the Pats.
Both in the league.
Not much Pats news. Other than Edelman retired. Just crazy, really the end of an era. Yeah.
See you in Tampa Bay here. He's gonna go rehab with all the steroids and then come back stronger than ever.
Yeah. Other news is Super League.
Down Tampa in 45. Are we talking about the Super League, the soccer league?
Yeah.
The Super Money League.
We had different opinions on this.
I mean, it would have been fun to watch like all those great clubs play against each other, but at the same time, all those like owners are making so much money from all those games. The money is going into those clubs, and it's even more than it is now. Like those clubs right now, they can basically go out and buy whichever player they want, but it would be even worse than that. Like there wouldn't be a single other league with a good player. They would just buy out all of the good players, and everyone would want to go play in the Super League. Right now, players have a choice. They can go Premier League, they can go La Liga, they can go the French League, Ligue 1. But if there was that, they would basically everyone would be funneled to the Super League. It's the only league people watch, and it's fun to be able to watch other soccer games.
Yeah, I agree in the way that it would ruin soccer in the way that all the big names would just go to those teams. But I think it would be just so fun to watch. Looks like it's not going to happen. Most of the Premier Leagues have all dropped out. So, yeah. All right, on to our main segment. We're doing our NFL mock drafts since the draft is Thursday night. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. This is probably the most I've followed an NFL draft.
It's important to note what we think is going to happen, not what should happen. We can release our what should happen on a TikTok maybe.
Yeah.
Who we think should pick. Leave a comment or something saying if you want to see that.
Exactly.
So
all right, get into it.
The slideshow.
Yeah. All right. NFL mock drafts. Pick one. It's pretty obvious. Trevor Lawrence.
We both have Trevor Lawrence. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they need a quarterback. Unless they pull off a complete shocker, which I don't see happening. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville.
He's one of the best prospects. He's just being compared to everybody. It will be interesting to see if he lives up to the hype. Yeah. On to pick two, we also both have Zach Wilson.
This is almost a toss because Fields was here earlier, and Zach Wilson had a really good pro day, but so did Justin Fields. I think that this could go either way. It really depends on who New York likes. And Zach Wilson, I mean, he looks a lot like Sam Darnold. I think he's better than Sam Darnold was coming out of the draft. But this Jets team could actually be pretty good next year. They have a late first-round pick, which they're going to probably take on a running back. So think of Zach Wilson and Najee Harris in the backfield. Like, that's not fun to play against.
Yeah, you're saying about Darnold. I think Wilson's just a little more athletic, has a little stronger arm, and he was just electrifying in college. He's so fun to watch.
he looks like a smaller Patrick Mahomes. Like I don't know if you saw some of the throws he was making.
Yeah, just about
Like
to
on
say.
the run, 50 yards over the shoulder. Like he looks great.
Yeah, he had a great
Might
pro
have
day.
he
Yeah,
might have bigger upside than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is more of a sure thing. Like he's gonna be really good. But Lawrence or Wilson could turn into a better quarterback than Lawrence will in the long run, possibly.
yeah. And our
I like
first difference is pick 3. I have Mac Jones going to the 49ers, and Toby has Trey Lance.
So for this one, I know everyone, like a lot of people are saying Mac Jones is going to go third overall. The 49ers love Mac Jones. But people forget that Kyle Shanahan drafted Robert Griffin III. And before that turned into a big bust, Griffin led them to the playoffs. It was only because Shanahan or whoever the head coach of at Washington was at the time, I think it was Gruden,
Yeah,
he played Griffin on a torn ACL in the playoffs, like while they had Kirk Cousins on the bench. Like, why would you risk a young player's career like that? Like, that was supposed to be their franchise superstar. And he was never the same after he got hurt in that game. But Griffin was awesome. And I think Shanahan might go with a similar route, a speedy guy, Trey Lance, who can also throw the football. And I think he can throw it better than Griffin could. And I just don't think Mac Jones is a good pick for number 3. He's not good enough.
I also agree. I don't think Mac Jones is the right pick. I think if Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence go 1-2, I think they should take Fields. But in the case, every mock draft it has Mac Jones. He's been to the big game. He won the title game. That's obviously at Alabama with all those 5-star recruits and everything. But he's a good passer, back in the pocket, and it'll be interesting. This is the big pick right here to see what the 49ers do to like shake up the draft. And this pick will really tell you what the rest of the draft's going to be like.
Maybe they take Kyle Pitts and they go killing Pitts as their 2 tight end set. That would be nasty.
Yeah, you never know. All right, on to our 4th pick, the Atlanta Falcons. I have them taking Kyle Pitts, and Toby has 4 straight quarterbacks going with them taking
4 straight quarterbacks. Normally, I would say like I think someone else is gonna throw a towel in the ring or take a sleeper. But I mean, all these quarterbacks, they're pretty good quarterbacks, and historically, quarterbacks haven't turned out that good when they've been taken in the top of the first round. But I think that a bunch of these guys could turn into really, really good NFL players. And Fields is from Atlanta. He's from Georgia. I see him staying there as Matt Ryan's contract expires next year. Ryan can groom him for a year, can just help him out. And if Fields is still on the board here, I think the Falcons take him, and then Matt Ryan leaves Atlanta next year and Fields takes over. But Pitts could also go to Atlanta, but it's sort of a toss-up.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna add to that explosive offense with Pitts, Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Ryan. I've seen this reading this thing about the money thing. They say like Ryan would cost them like $65 million in dead money this year, and negative it would be like negative $38 million in the cap space. And if they it just I don't know. It was a mess if they drafted a quarterback. And Ryan, he's not that bad. He's still a decent quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. They might take defense. They've struggled on defense this year, so.
Yeah, I was also thinking that I could take a linebacker because that defense, I was just thinking of fantasy. Oh, they're playing the Falcons. Like, pick up that QB. Like,
yeah, this also might be a trade down spot. If they don't like any of the options and they don't draft Pitts this high, they could trade down and take a weapon later in the draft.
Yeah, I totally agree. On to pick number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals. We both have Penei Sewell going here.
Although I don't think Penei Sewell is actually the best defensive lineman or offensive lineman in the draft. I think that guy Rashawn Slater from Northwestern is the best. If you look at his film and you watch him against Chase Young when he was at Ohio State, Slater completely shut Chase Young down. Chase Young was going nowhere. And Sewell's an athletic freak, but he doesn't quite have the blocking technique, and you don't really know where he's going to play. With Slater, he's a left tackle, and that's what the Bengals need. They need someone to protect Joe Burrow's blind side. So do you want to take Sewell and have him like just wait, have him like learn throughout the year, but maybe you risk Joe Burrow getting hurt again? Or do you want to take someone who might have those skills already?
I
So
think
I
that,
think it's a tough.
like you said, Penei Sewell, he doesn't have a defined position. That makes him even better, where they can put him anywhere on the line. He's good awareness. His wingspan isn't crazy, like you said. He's a freak of nature. It's gonna be they could, and the Bengals could also take Jamar Chase, um, Joe Burrow's former teammate, who he was saying he wants to play with. But I think you have to take an O lineman after.
Yeah, having Sewell's versatility would be very beneficial, especially on an offense where you need to run the ball, and Mixon could use that help if you move Sewell to guard.
Yeah. All right. On to pick 6. This is Miami's pick. I actually have Denver trading up here to take Justin Fields, and Toby, you have Miami taking Jamar Chase.
I do. I don't think that Miami's going to trade this pick. I think they traded back to 12 with the 49ers, and they got a boatload of picks in return, right? And then if they had wanted to stay like down in the draft, why wouldn't they have just stayed at 12? They had to trade back up to 6 because they want someone at number 6 overall. And I think that guy is Jamar Chase. He's the best receiver in the draft, in my opinion. And Tua needs weapons. If they think Tua is the guy, so they're going to try and provide him with as many weapons as possible. Jamar Chase is that guy.
So Denver originally has the 9th pick. And I see them trading this 6 to Miami because Miami, like, you have them drafting a wide receiver. There's still the top 3 wide receivers on the board at 6. So I think if they trade back to 9, I think they're having a good chance to leave one of those wide receivers still available for them to pick. And I think Denver, Drew Lock isn't it. And if Fields falls to here, I think it would be smart of them to trade up.
Nate, it's possible. Like, what if Miami only wants one of those top 3 receivers? They have one guy they think this is the best guy. Wouldn't they take him at this spot? It really depends on what Miami wants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If they do say we want Jamar Chase, and I could totally see them taking him if he lands here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not in that Miami discussion,
Yeah, on the discussion room.
All right, on to pick 7, the Detroit Lions. I have them taking Jamar Chase, and you have them taking Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle. Yep. Waddle is the next Tyreek Hill. You can quote me on that. I think that Waddle would fit really good, and Goff loves those slot guys. Like in the past, he's loved Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and as a new quarterback in Detroit, I think he might have some say, and he's saying, I wanna play with Waddle. He's a slot guy. He's super fast. He could be a great weapon for Jared Goff. And if they do take him, he is probably my number one of my top receivers for fantasy football. Because you see how good Kupp and Woods are. Imagine Waddle, and Detroit's gonna be behind a lot. They're gonna be throwing the ball. So
yeah. I think we can both agree that Jamar Chase is that top wide receiver. Yeah. But in this case, our debate is Waddle versus Devonta Smith. Everybody's saying Devonta Smith, he's too small, but he's the best route runner in this draft. He just won the Heisman. I think if it was Waddle versus Smith, I think Smith is the better pick. But it'd be interesting.
Waddle probably would have won the Heisman. Smith's targets only went up when Waddle went down with an injury. Waddle wasn't the number 1 guy at Alabama. In high points of football, he's a lot stronger than Smith is. You see Smith get pushed off the line sometimes by bigger corners. He made guys miss, but he won't be able to do that as much at the NFL level. I still think he's going to be a really good receiver, but I think Waddle's a better pick, and I think a lot of NFL scouts would say the same.
Yeah. All right, on to pick 8, the Panthers. I have Pat trading this 15th pick to go up to draft, trade with the Panthers, and I have them drafting Trey Lance. Toby has the Panthers sticking there and drafting Kyle Pitts.
I hope that Pats trade up and get Trey Lance, but what do you have them trading up? What would the Panthers give up or why would the Panthers give up this pick if the Pats offered? What would the Pats give them that the Panthers would say, okay, yeah, I'll do that?
I haven't thought that far, but I think the Pats would maybe they give him the 15th pick. Obviously, they might give him another first rounder and then like a second and a third, and maybe add on the defensive player, something like that. I think Belichick
Yeah,
make it work. Yeah,
I just don't think Belichick would trade that many first round picks. But maybe the intimidation factor. He calls up the Panthers GM, says like, I know where you live, and then they just hand him the pick. Belichick's kind of scary.
I mean,
But
no one would have thought Belichick this offseason he's signed these millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And he's unpredictable, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe more of a reason why he would do something else unpredictable. But I think the Panthers, they need a tight end. They just got Sam Darnold in a new system. They have a great receiving core. They have Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and they have I would say the best running back and the best all around running back in the league.
Yeah.
Not pure runner, but like pass catcher and stuff. And Christian McCaffrey. Why not add your last final piece to that as Kyle Pitts? And this is saying that no one else takes Pitts, of course. Like, if someone else takes Pitts, maybe there'd be a trade. But I think the Panthers wouldn't be able to refuse Kyle Pitts at this point.
Yeah. All right. Pick 9. Here I have the Dolphins taking, and Toby has Denver taking. I have the Dolphins taking Devonta Smith. Toby has Denver taking. No, I have Miami.
Waddle.
Miami taking Waddle, and you have Denver taking Mac Jones.
Yeah, I agree with if this trade did happen, I think Miami would take Waddle. But there's also the possibility they trade down again and see, like, let's say they say, I like these 3 receivers. There's a kid from Minnesota, I think his name's Bateman, who's really good. If they like 3 receivers, they might say, if any of these guys are available at 17, we'll take them. And they might trade down again. But I think Mac Jones goes to Denver here. Drew Lock is not the answer.
Yeah, I think Miami, they're gonna make that trade. They're gonna be left with the only wide receiver there. They're gonna take him, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I have a bunch of trades happening. Yeah, Mac Jones, if he's there, I also agree that if Denver has that pick, they need a QB. I have them taking Fields, trading up. You have them waiting and taking Jones. Yeah.
I mean, Jones could be a guy. I think Denver is still reaching for him. I think his stats are boosted because he played in a system with Nick Saban and he had weapons all around him. But the other option here is if Denver still thinks that Drew Lock is the answer, they could go and get a top corner in this draft as they need that. They could also go get a linebacker, an off-the-ball linebacker such as Micah Parsons or Quiddy Pie. I think he can play off the ball. Owosu Corey or something. He's an off-the-ball guy. But I think Denver takes Jones here.
Yeah. All right. On to pick 10, we both have our first offensive player going. We both have J.C. Horn going to the Dallas Cowboys. What are your thoughts?
He's a great all-around corner. It's either him or Surtain, the first corner. And I think this pick's a no-doubter. The Cowboys desperately need a defensive back. It's Horn or Surtain. It's preference, right? I like Horn in this draft. I like Horn as a better defensive guy, especially at the NFL level. But it really is a toss-up.
Yeah, I also think J.C. Horn is a better option over Surtain. He's a better pro day. I think he's just more explosive. He has higher potential. But it'll be interesting to see how many defenders go with this. I feel like a top-sided offensive draft. But yeah.
And that's our mock draft. It's important to note that players like Parsons, the left tackle from Northwestern, Slater, Surtain, they're all still on the board for us. We don't have them taken in the top 10, but they could be. You never know.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think I had Devonta Smith in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think he's going to drop. I'm hoping the Patriots get him, but we'll see.
Yeah. And that's going to end the episode for us. It was a good episode. It was a short episode. If there was, I don't think there was any lagging. There might have been a little bit at the beginning. That that's it. Subscribe, like, and
Follow us
yeah,
on TikTok.
yeah. Peace.